Ways to improve the Cyberpunk 2077 experience. Number 5. Hey Chooms, it's your friendly neighborhood ripper Victor Vector here, filling in for the kid. Don't ask where V is at the moment. You know, just out doing the V shit V does. So, we're again with more ideas to add to the video series, compiling a list of new concepts and ideas they could possibly implement into future Cyberpunk 2077 updates, or the Cyberpunk sequel, to reach the pinnacle of open-world RPG experiences. So, let's dive in, shall we? Was thinking, this may be asking a lot of the devs, but a more free-flowing character creation system would be great. What comes to mind is Fallout 4's character creator, which I think to date is one of the best facial character creators we've had. Designing your character's face was like molding a face out of clay, giving you a wide abundance of options and possibilities to sculpt your character's look. Expecting CDPR to come out with a creator that in-depth is asking a bit much, I know, but I'd really like them to consider exploring this feature down the line. Another neat possibility would be having a more in-depth life path role, especially for the Corpo life path. Fully immersing yourself in the role as corporate grunt, trying to survive the infighting of Militech or Arasaka. Rather than playing the role of your typical merc and handling issues with direct force, instead, what if you're given the option to take on the path of a Corpo with no combat skills, only a silver tongue, being able to persuade and manipulate his or her way in and out of trouble? This concept needs more polishing, but just throwing it out there for the hell of it. Let's get to your suggestions. A Choom had a critique for the endings, and I quote, "They should fix the endings. The tower ending in current CP2077 is very badly handled. Also, add in more car modifications and buying properties, such as stores, businesses, etc. Paying taxes on those properties, buying stocks, more immersive trade interactions. So if you trade with a vendor regularly, they might give you a discount, a follower to have with you and talk to like in Bethesda titles. That would be dope. And they better add in some flying cars in the sequel, with fixed car and driving physics. If nothing else, at least use Al to generate the NPC voice lines like in Skyrim's ChatGPT mod." End quote. Another Choom wrote, and I quote, "World interactions. Sounds good. There's a tiny bit of gang interaction in the Stadium Love side job, convo with the other gangs. There sure could have been more. Life paths. Assuming Orion is using these, they could be differentiated more. Character creation shouldn't be a grab bag. Choosing a life path should direct your character choices. Example, no crazy hairstyles, makeup, etc. For Corpo, no sophisticated looks for Nomad. Just the crazy, out there stuff for Street Kid. All could be changed in-game as your character evolves, of course, but that's how you'd start. One unique fixer, and a few unique gigs for each life path. Street Kid already has Kirk. Nomad could have a special relationship with Meredith after uncovering the mole. Get a few Militech-related gigs before the climactic meeting. Corpo V could get some assignments from Frank Nostra, ending in their final meeting. So much could be done here. Maybe one unique ending for each life path. It would sure boost replayability. A few more romances would be fun. Maybe just 2 more rather than 6. This game isn't about romance after all. But why do we have access to Sandra Dorset's apartment even after the gig V does for her? A plan that never got included? Panam rejects female V's advances, but that Saul Bright is a pretty manly man. And it would be a very interesting dynamic to have that kind of alternative romance inside a single quest line. End quote. Choom wrote, and I quote, "Having your own merc crew who you can manage and use to help out with certain gigs. For example, The player character is a solo build, but is Chooms with a netrunner who is willing to help with quick hacking or clearing surveillance systems to help with a certain gig. Each of these merc companions are real characters who the player can also level up and swap gear with, sort of like the squads in the Mass Effect trilogy. You can even invite them to meet you at the afterlife after a successful gig to celebrate. End quote. Another wrote, and I quote, "I'd like to see more cyberware options that can change the character's appearance, like cybernetic arms or legs that look more mechanical than like a natural limb, and have a transmog customization system for cyberware, similar to the wardrobe transmog. For example, you get a new set of cybernetic eyes, and with a transmog customization, maybe through the Ripper dock, you can have your appearance look like you have one natural eye and one cybernetic Eve, with color-changing options to the eye. Just imagine walking around with an eye resembling the Terminator. For limbs, the transmog can give you the appearance of having one cybernetic limb, like Johnny Silverhand." End quote. Another, and I quote, "Across cyberware, like how David had monkey hands and a grenade launcher arm, I want Mantis gorilla arms." End quote. Another comment, and I quote, "Watch a video of Cyberpunk in VR. It blew my mind, and I believe that would be the definitive way to play Cyberpunk 2077. It's called The Correct Way to Play Cyberpunk 2077 in YouTube. I'm sure it'll blow your mind too." End quote. We'll make an effort to check it out. And finally, a Choom commented, and I quote, "Whatever gang you piss off the most should be a genuine threat to the people your character cares about, like characters you romance could get kidnapped for ransom, or it could be called on your friends. It would also be kinda cool if you could call certain friends for help on missions that don't particularly relate to them." End quote. Now that's a cool idea. Would love the idea of rescuing your romance from a gang. And what if you have the option to either negotiate to have your romance released? Negotiations can release the captive and can lower the gang's hostility towards you. But the criterion for this perk is having high enough street cred. You could handle it through the first option or a second one, and that is if you do it the old-fashioned way and rescue your partner by completely wiping out the entire gang, holding them captive in their hideout, sending a message to the rest of Night City to think twice before they kidnap your people. But that concludes another video. To be a part of the discussion, feel free to comment your ideas below, whether it be on Insta, TikTok, or YouTube, and consider following me on those platforms to stay updated with more content. And if you're looking for more chrome, be sure to swing by my clinic to get chipped by the best Ripper in town. Live free, Chooms. Till next time.